Okay, so we're talking about 2-1 solving, adding and subtracting one-step equations. Okay, one-step equations are something that are just really simple to figure out, and we're going to do the opposite to find that. But I'm going to show you the ways that I want you to do that. So when we do equations is something with an equal sign in it. So example 1, and all I put in the notes was undo the addition or subtraction operation, because that's all we're dealing with is addition and subtraction today. You will need your integer rules. You need to make sure you know those, because they will come into play at some point. So when we have an example, we have a number. It says v minus 3 equals 25. Okay, my number one rule is that I want you to draw a line down the equal sign. And why I want you to do that is because we have to be, they're like two children. We have to be, if I give something to one, I got to give it to the other one or they're going to whine. Does that make sense? You know how kids are, right? Okay, so that's how we're saying. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other, okay? Now, in our minds, could we logically solve this problem without doing anything?
Yes.
What minus 3 is 25? What is it? 28, okay? Yes, we can do that logically. We can say, okay, I know what that number is. Now, but when we get into multiple step equations, which is where we're going, I want you to follow these processes. So I don't want you going through your head and trying to figure out the number. Just do the process and figure out the number. So I would solve this. I would first write my sign down the middle. And then I'm trying to solve for v. I'm trying to solve for whatever variable, okay? So a variable is any letter that represents some number, okay? So in this case, I'm trying to solve for v. So I've got to move everything away from v, okay, to solve for it. I want to isolate it by itself. So I have to do the opposite of what's happening. So it's subtracting 3. So to move it away, I would have to do the opposite, which would be add 3. So what I do to one side, I got to do the other. What I give to one kid, I got to give to the other. And then I draw my line there, okay? And then I have minus 3 plus 3. Cancels, right? And it makes 0, but I don't need to write 0, do I? Do I need to put v plus 0? Is that going to change anything? No, so I'm just going to, I have v left over on my left side. And then on my right side, I have 25 plus 3, which is what?
28.
28. Okay, so there we solved that problem, okay? Pretty simple, right? Okay, same thing happens in example 2. I have negative 10 equals 8 plus x. Well, that one's a little bit harder, okay? But I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign and split it. I'm solving for what? What am I solving for? X. It doesn't matter which side it's on. I'm solving for the variable. That's what I'm inevitably trying to solve for. So I have to get everything away from the variable to solve for it. Okay. Now, there is no sign in front of 8. There's a sign here. That just means that this sign, this plus sign, goes with the x. Does that make sense? This goes with this. So there's no sign in front of 8. So what does that mean it is? Is there a negative sign in front of it? If there's no sign, it's just positive, right? Okay, so what's the opposite of positive 8? Minus 8. So the opposite of plus 8 is minus 8. Does that make sense? The opposite of positive 8 is a negative 8, or minus 8. Those are the same thing. So we're going to put minus 8. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. Okay? This canceled. I'm marking that out. Mark it out. Okay? What I have left on the right side is x, because that's where my variable is. Negative 10 minus 8. This is like a problem. Okay? We've got to pay attention. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. Negative 10 minus 8. How would we normally solve this? We would say leave, change, change. Right? Okay? So it would be negative 18. Our answer was negative 18 equals x. Okay, let's look at number 1 on the exercises. Okay, so what plus 1 is 13? Well, Robert already said it. It was 12, right? But I'm going to solve it just like I should. I'm going to draw my line down. Okay, I'm solving for y, so I'm trying to isolate y by itself. So I'm going to move everything away from y. So the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. So minus 1, what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. that cancels out over here and leaves me y on the left side and 13 minus 1, which is 12 on the right. How's that go? Okay? Okay. So I like to box my answers in this situation. Just makes it a little clearer. Number 2. What plus 2 is 26? 24. But let's check that. Draw my line. Trying to isolate x, right? So what do I need to move away from x? The 2. It's plus 2, so I'm going to subtract 2. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. I have x left on the left side and 26 minus 2 left on the right. So x equals 24. Okay? Going too fast? Okay, now, we're getting a little trickier here. Okay? Negative 3 equals k plus 7. Well, I'm trying to solve for k. Okay? I need to move my 7 away. So it's plus 7. What's the opposite of plus 7? Minus 7. Minus 7. What I do to one side, I got to do the other. Okay, so I have k left over here. Plus 7 minus 7 just zeroes out. Okay? And then I have negative 3 minus 7. Negative 3 minus 7. Leave, change, change. So that's negative 10. Integer rules are going to be very important here, guys. Okay? Same sign, add and keep the sign. Different sign, subtract and keep the sign of the larger. Okay, everybody feel okay about that one? Now, can I check this? Let's check this. Let's check number 3. Negative 3 equals negative 10 plus 7. What did I do? I just put in my answer back in for k. Negative 10 plus 7, what does that equal? So does that check out? So it makes it true, okay? So if I'm unsure, I can plug it back in and see if it works. If your sign's not working, then you probably need to do something different. Okay, so drawing my line, solving for C. What's the opposite of minus 2? Plus 2. So plus 2 over here. C equals 9. Let's check it. 7 equals 9 minus 2. Yep, 7 equals 7. Checked it out. It worked. Okay. Now, number 5. Drawing my line, straight down my equal sign. I'm solving for P. Okay, so we're solving for P. How do I do that? I do the opposite of plus 3, which is minus 3. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Okay? That leaves me P on the left side. And then negative 29 minus 3. I'm going to leave, change, change. Nope. So it's going to be negative 32. Okay? So leave, change, change. You've got to make sure you're watching those signs. Number 7. We're solving for B. Oh, sorry, did I skip 6? Yeah. Oh, skip 6. Sorry, we'll go back to 6. Okay, so line down the equal sign. Okay, so we're solving for T, so I'm going to get rid of everything with T. So the opposite of minus 5 is plus 5. Plus 5. This cancels. It leaves me T on that side. And then negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Okay. Let's finish these last couple. So right here, solving for B, we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. We have B left over. 35 minus 7 is 28. And then 8. Go ahead and try it on your own and then start the video back up when you're ready, but try it on your own. Okay, so we're solving for y. I subtracted 16 from both sides and I got y equals 33. And then same thing with this last one. we're going to draw the line, move our 10, x equals 72, okay? So the most important thing is be careful with your integer signs, because that's what will change your answers for the not right way, okay? So make sure you're paying attention to the integer signs and integer rules and follow through.